A different kind of issue with the A-line, every 15 minutes. We turn back the clock to the moment Colorado learned what happened at Pearl Harbor, and lessons from Coloradans who went to war in the years that followed, along with our chance today to give them more than just a thank you. CU opens up to the public to remember a one-of-a-kind buff. Colorado's Attorney General tells next what'll happen if President-elect Trump isn't down with us getting high. The school shooting PSA seen by millions and millions online is certainly moving, but perhaps it misses the point. And a woman determined to climb all of Colorado's 14ers discovers something important. She doesn't like to hike. True story, and it's next. Is the A-line working today? I would almost forgive it if it wasn't. I mean, it's like the Polar Express out there today, but it is working. Warm, safe ride to the airport and back. That is fantastic. The train is going to be a gem of our community once they work out the kinks, which include the issue that is causing a small business to put business on hold every 15 minutes.
It's super loud, and it's hard to do business with this type of noise. We're going on 8 months now, and the noise level obstructs our business.
The A-line's horn was supposed to be silenced by now. Dan Ty and his brother own Ty Brothers Distillery at 42nd and Milwaukee in Denver's El Rio Swansea neighborhood. It is right next to the A-line, and the distillery is one of the buildings rattled by the sound of that train horn every 15 minutes from 6 a.m. until 2 a.m. the next morning. Federal rules require the safety warnings, and of course we would be raising Cain if those horns weren't working and people were getting hit at the crossings. But there is an alternative, and RTD had hoped to have its quiet zone designations approved by the feds by this point.
Our goal and target was to have quiet zones established when we opened April 22nd. And so to have it go on this long has been a challenge and frustrating for us as well. If I was living there, if I was doing business there and interrupted every 15 minutes, I would be sending emails too.
Federal regulators will not allow the horns to go silent until RTD's positive train control, a safety system, has been certified. And RTD's telling us that might not happen until the middle of next year. Rashaan Salaam brought a lot of things to CU. Pride, passion, great success on the football field, and he brought one trophy unlike any other. Today, as fans and friends remembered the Buffs legend who was found dead after apparently killing himself, CU opened its doors and allowed people to get up close with Salaam's Heisman Trophy. The Champions Center on campus was open today to the public. People could stop by, spend a moment remembering Salaam, the Heisman Trophy. It's the only one ever won by a CU Buff. A friend recalled the last time that he saw Salaam. It was the last time they watched the Buffs play.
He really loved Cepho, how tough he was, and he loved the fight and the gritty grind of Lindsey, how he ran with the ball. It reminded him a lot of himself, and so it was really a great time being around him on his birthday, watching the Buffs. Made me proud as a Buff, but also, most importantly, as his friend.
Rashaan Salaam's mother told us today that her son will be buried in Boulder, the community that he returned to for the final few years of his life, the place where he was so loved by so many. If the Trump administration cracks down on legal marijuana in Colorado, smoke 'em if you got 'em will be more than just an expression, you know what I'm saying? It is not clear if he's going to take a hard line, but his choice for Attorney General, Senator Jeff Sessions, is an outspoken marijuana opponent. Colorado's Attorney General, Cynthia Kaufman, told me that she hopes that they can all have a conversation first.
I would want to sit down with the feds and say, take a look at what we have done in Colorado, because we are really at the forefront on this issue. And let us explain to you how this has functioned, what we have seen as collateral issues, how we have dealt with those in Denver as a city and county, and Colorado as a state, and ask us questions about what has worked and what hasn't worked before you make a decision about taking a hard line in terms of enforcement going forward.
Attorney General Kaufman, who's a Republican, says that she believes that Colorado's marijuana regulatory structure is the best in the country. And someday she may be asked to defend it, in or out of court. President-elect Trump giveth and President-elect Trump tweeteth away. Yesterday, he may have canceled an order for a new Air Force One jet via tweet. And today, it was a comment made to Time magazine that he wants to bring down prescription drug prices. And that brought down drug company stocks. They had soared the day after his election. Investors were thinking he'd be friendly to the drug companies. We mention this because of the time that we have spent here on Next talking about the skyrocketing cost of prescription drugs. You can review all of Chris Vanderveen's 9 Wants to Know series, Side Effects, about the prices, the causes, and some potential solutions, all of it at 9news.com. 75 years ago today, a rumor rippled across radios in America, and then it was confirmed, and newspapers went to print. And Americans learned of Japan's sneak attack on Pearl Harbor. We can show you what that looked like in Colorado. It played out over the course of 2 days. That Sunday, the Rocky Mountain News had already put out its first edition, and the headline was, "Roosevelt appeals to Japan to avert a war." Coloradans read the headline. The next, or rather that day, there were headlines, "Overalls to replace skirts," and "Should DU quit the Big Seven?" It was actually the next day, Monday, that Pearl Harbor became the headline on the Rocky. U.S. Congress meets today to enter Second World War. The paper was an extra 3 cents. Local news was pushed far from the front page. Denver wasn't even mentioned in a headline until page 3, where they talked about the local FBI office on standby, waiting for orders to round up Japanese aliens. Coloradans would then be called to war in the weeks and months and years that followed. And today, at 9 News, volunteers have been answering phones since the crack of dawn, raising money to send our World War II veterans to Washington to see the memorial to their service and sacrifice. A few of them sat down to share their stories.
What was it about the war that made you, it wasn't fighting. It wasn't just going out there fighting, killing people. And I learned that from being amongst other people that was there for the same reason.
We are so blessed with this country. And in my career, I've been to a lot of countries, and we are truly blessed here.
And all these guys that pitch in and help to make this possible, God, we can't thank them. We can't thank them enough. That's something else. I'll carry with me when my day is done. Because, yeah, it's just proud to be a part of it.
They are proud of their service, and we are in their debt. So today, that is why we are supporting Colorado veterans and supporting the Rocky Mountain Honor Flight. Your generous donations have already funded 1 flight full of veterans from the West. These kind folks who share your desire to give those veterans the thanks they deserve are on the other end of the phone line at 303-577-2080.
Sure.
If I might share with you why I'm choosing to give personally, the impact of these honor flights goes beyond just the vets. You know what I'm talking about if you've ever been in an airport terminal as the crowd rises as one to applaud the veterans, to shake their hands. All those very important people in very important hurries will stop in their tracks and reassess for a moment what is very important. And at the memorials in Washington, I've been able to watch as the families with kids share conversations about the sacrifices of veterans and then turn around and see one approaching up the walk. And all of a sudden, history is no longer a lesson. It's a living person with a face and a name and perhaps a story that they'll share. So that's why I'm choosing to give to Rocky Mountain Honor Flight today, for the veterans and for everyone that they will pass along the way. Millions have seen the powerful PSA with the school shooter sulking in the background. Colorado's Attorney General returns to raise a powerful question.
What do we do next?
Before she planned to climb all of Colorado's 14ers, she might have considered how that would work, since she doesn't like to hike. And a Boy Scout who is allergic to dogs, but isn't allergic to helping them.
This is the guy that I was running to in the library. Yeah.
Like guilty. So you like to write on desks?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Millions of Americans are watching and rewatching, clicking, sharing, retweeting that PSA video. It was put together by parents who lost children in the Sandy Hook shooting. Colorado's Attorney General Cynthia Kaufman says awareness is great. Action is essential.
Now the question, though, is now that awareness is raised, what do we do next?
What's next, Attorney General Kaufman says, is continuing to tell new generations of students in Colorado that once they recognize those signs of trouble, they have a statewide anonymous reporting system at their fingertips. Safe to Tell. Call, text, send a screenshot. Safe to Tell is a dozen years old now, and it's seeing more reports than ever.
The volume has definitely gone up. In November of 2016, we had 25% more reports than we did in November of 2015. Some of it is the ease with which kids can now report, and some of it is that I think they are more cognizant of what is happening with friends and with classmates. And they're hearing from a variety of sources that if you see something, you should say something.
When you see the increase in reports to Safe to Tell, is that alarming or is that reassuring?
I choose to find it reassuring. We've changed the technology. Used to be, it was a phone line that kids could call in on anonymously. Now with web tipping and a mobile app for Safe to Tell, we get reports all hours of the day and night. And kids upload videos and photos. So seeing the numbers go up to me is a success.
If you know of a young person who should put Safe to Tell's contact information in their phone, you can find it all on the next Facebook page and in this article on 9news.com. Well, we are about to meet an exceptional young man who happens to be allergic to dogs, but he is not allergic to hard work, as my parents used to like to say. The Adams County Animal Shelter posted a photo of a 13-year-old named Jace Nelson along with some of the beds that he made for dogs at the shelter. Jace raised more than $400 himself for the project. He collected all the parts necessary, and then he made the 12 beds for the shelter with some help from the rest of his Boy Scout troop. It all just started with a simple call to the shelter, Jace asking what he could do to help, and the answer was that some of the dogs waiting to find their forever home could be a little bit more comfortable.
Me and my dad, the first day we went there, we looked around and we saw that a bunch of these animals didn't have beds, and then on our way out we saw the surgery room. So a lot of the dogs that didn't have beds might have just had surgeries, so they might be uncomfortable as they lay on the floor with just like a blanket or something underneath them.
Project will help Jace get his Eagle Scout award. He's in a race, actually, with his older brother, Jacob, trying to see who can be the first to achieve Scouting's highest rank. And Dad says Jace is on track to get the Eagle Scout a few months earlier than Jacob.
And there's the sunrise.
Dawn, on one of Colorado's 14ers, never gets old, even if you've seen all of them on the path to a very personal project. She throws like a girl, eating really well. Tonight, her wish comes true. And so does mine, as we begin our series on your holiday fails, our salute to those who try to Christmas and can't. Somewhere along the line, just climbing all of Colorado's 14ers wasn't enough of a feat in itself. There had to be some kind of a twist to make the accomplishment truly special. Our photojournalist Chris Hansen found a woman from Denver who packed her bags with something unusual and set out on the trail.
Erica, I'm so glad that you're here.
It's easier to see by the light of day.
Coffee is important, not only out here, but every day.
These people haven't always been in the picture.
Okay, Marisha, did you meet Elise?
But this isn't the first picture.
So is Andrea here right now?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, today will be the last.
It's been almost exactly 2 years and 2 months, and it does not feel like it at all.
2 years.
It feels like it's been like 2 days.
After Lisa Martin set out, without the crowd, chasing Bierstadt.
I was way more in love with the artist than I was the mountain. Oh.
Like the famous landscape artist, her passion is painting. She's a hiker by happenstance.
She wasn't big into the hiking part of it, and so it was fun to watch because I'm not sure she knew what she was getting into, but she crushed it.
And there's the sunrise. Dun, 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 dun.
First Mount Bierstadt, then another 14er, then another.
Yeah, these things are heavy.
Coming down from the mountain, each mountain, with a painting from the summit.
Great.
All 58 of Colorado's 14,000-foot peaks.
Handies, Chavano, Culebra, Mount Sherman, Bierstadt, my favorite, Humboldt Peak, Princeton, Pyramid Peak, Uncompahgre, no. Yeah, Uncompahgre. Let's go back. This one is Uncompahgre. I feel like I'm getting quizzed. Holy Cross. I guess because it was just a personal goal, I didn't really think that it would be publicized or people would care that I was painting pictures. People do a lot of things on tops of mountains.
But the people piled up like the paintings.
What a pretty day!
They met on this mountain or that, and they all gathered to cheer Lisa to the summit of her final peak, Mount of the Holy Cross.
I love you, I'm so proud of you, you're awesome! I love you! Oh my gosh!
Lisa's people.
Like, meeting people is so much better even than the mountains are, in my opinion. Meeting people like you guys.
Yeah. And so, for a little while...
Didn't do it yet, I still have to do painting.
Lisa's back where she started. Just her. And an idea.
Titanium white.
And a bag full of paint and brushes. 20 minutes with her canvas. Then it's time to pack up for the long hike down the mountain.
I mean, purple sounds like a really good decision too, right?
It was like one of the best ideas I've ever seen anybody pull off. It's like not only finishing, but doing something really cool at the top too.
Somewhere along the way, Lisa the painter became Lisa the happy hiker.
It was about after hike number 20. Feels a little weird. A little happy, a little sad.
So proud of you.
58 peaks, 58 sunrises.
Love you, girls.
Ascents, descents, the countless friends, and the lessons learned along the way.
I've definitely learned what my limits are and what they are not. And I've learned that going to nature doesn't fix problems. If there's anything I'm going through in my life, I learned that going to nature can help you think, but it doesn't really solve anything.
The people aren't in the paintings, but for Lisa,
That was super romantic.
they'll always be in the picture.
That's super awkward. That's super awkward.
Lisa hopes to have all of her peak paintings displayed in a gallery at some point so that you can enjoy the view from the summits without any of the hiking. In October, next to introduce you to an 11-year-old quarterback who tucks her hair into the back of her helmet and hits the field right alongside the boys. Jessica Bell asked us to pass along a message to the Broncos' Emmanuel Sanders.
Hey, Emmanuel Sanders, you want to catch a pass from me, Jessica Bell, a real quarterback? Check me out on Next. Look at the flick of the wrist.
And this might just happen tonight. Jessica and her team are on the Broncos Huddle, airing right after Next. Oh, I hope she gets to throw that pass. Colorado's beautiful holiday decorations have had the attention for far too long. We are celebrating your holiday light fails. Next. We push ourselves to make everything perfect for the holidays, but it is the thought that counts. And Ellen says her husband Paul really was trying to put up a nice holiday display for him last year, but Paul eventually resorted to duct tape. And Ellen, you should not have taken a picture of that. That wasn't nice, but thank you for sending it to us. Send us your family's holiday fails, #HeyNext, or email next@9news.com. Great news from the Rocky Mountain Honor Flight Telethon. Earlier in this half hour, your generosity finished filling a second flight of veterans who will be able to fly to Washington to see their memorial. 100% of your donations today go to the cause. Thank you. See you next time.